In 17th century Pescia, Italy, young Benedetta Carlini is enrolled in a Theatine convent by her devout parents. Raised in a deeply religious household, they believe that dedicating their daughter to God will secure both her spiritual salvation and their family's prestige. The convent, run by Abbess Felicita, maintains strict discipline and expects its nuns to dedicate themselves wholly to faith and service. Benedetta, a pious and imaginative child, quickly adapts to the convent's austere lifestyle, convinced that she has a special connection with the divine. 18 years later, Benedetta has grown into a devout young woman, fervent in her faith and widely respected among the other sisters. While participating in a convent play portraying the life of the Virgin Mary, Benedetta experiences a powerful vision. She sees a radiant figure of Jesus Christ, who calls to her with an enigmatic yet comforting presence. This vision shakes Benedetta to her core, filling her with both awe and confusion. She begins to experience similar occurrences frequently, each one reinforcing her belief that she has been chosen for a divine purpose. One day, a desperate and disheveled young woman named Bartolomea arrives at the convent gates, seeking refuge. She is fleeing from her abusive father, who has subjected her to unspeakable violence and cruelty. Moved by Bartolomea's plight, the convent grants her sanctuary. Abbess Felicita assigns Benedetta to oversee Bartolomea's integration into convent life, an arrangement that will soon develop into something far more complex. That very night, in the seclusion of their shared quarters, Bartolomea boldly kisses Benedetta, setting in motion a chain of events that will challenge Benedetta's faith, desires, and sense of self. As time passes, Benedetta's visions of Jesus become more intense and frequent. In one particularly harrowing vision, she finds herself in a terrifying scenario where she is about to be violently assaulted by a group of men. Just as she is about to succumb to their cruelty, a powerful figure, whom she identifies as Christ, intervenes and rescues her. Overcome by the intensity of the vision, Benedetta collapses and falls into a state of deep illness. Disturbed yet fascinated, Abbess Felicita assigns Bartolomea to care for Benedetta, a decision that only deepens their growing closeness. During another of her visions, Benedetta encounters Christ, who commands her to undress and touch his hands. When she awakens the next morning, she finds that her body bears inexplicable wounds, stigmata, on her palms and feet, mimicking the wounds of Christ himself. News of this miraculous occurrence spreads quickly through the convent and beyond, drawing the attention of the local clergy and the townspeople, who begin to regard Benedetta as a holy figure. An investigation is launched to verify the authenticity of Benedetta's stigmata. Abbess Felicita, skeptical of the young nun's claims, points out the irregularities in how the wounds appeared, manifesting while Benedetta was asleep rather than during prayer. Additionally, the telltale wounds of a crown of thorns are absent from her forehead. However, as scrutiny mounts, Benedetta collapses outside the abbess's chambers and begins speaking in an authoritative, male voice, admonishing those who doubt her divine connection. To the shock of all present, bleeding wounds suddenly appear on her forehead. Witnessing these inexplicable events firsthand, many in the convent are convinced of Benedetta's holiness, while others remain wary. One of the nuns, Sister Christina, suspects that Benedetta's wounds are self-inflicted. Observing a broken shard of pottery nearby, she begins to piece together her suspicions. Tensions in the convent rise as Benedetta's growing influence challenges the authority of Abbess Felicita. When church authorities deliberate on how to handle the public's interest in Benedetta's visions, they ultimately decide to elevate her to the role of abbess, displacing Felicita from her long-held position. Benedetta and Bartolomea, now inseparable, move into the abbess's former quarters. Their relationship, once filled with veiled glances and stolen moments, intensifies into a full-fledged sexual affair. They embrace their desires in secrecy, finding solace in one another. Bartolomea, emboldened by their intimacy, carves a dildo from Benedetta's wooden Virgin Mary statuette, transforming it into an object of their passion. Meanwhile, Sister Christina, driven by resentment and suspicion, falsely confesses during confession that she witnessed Benedetta deliberately inflicting wounds on herself. The priest, determined to uncover the truth, urges her to make this accusation publicly. However, when questioned, Abbess Felicita contradicts Christina, reminding her of their earlier conversations where Christina admitted she had not actually seen the wounds being self-inflicted. Despite the tension, Benedetta continues to exert her influence, claiming to be possessed by the spirit of Jesus. In this guise, she orders Sister Christina to flagellate herself, a disturbing command that highlights the power struggle at play. Later, Abbess Felicita secretly observes Benedetta and Bartolomea through a hidden peephole, confirming her suspicions about their forbidden relationship. Humiliated and overwhelmed, Sister Christina takes her own life by leaping from the convent roof, her body a tragic testament to the turmoil within the abbey's walls. As the plague ravages the countryside, Benedetta has another vision, this time proclaiming that Pescia will be spared from the deadly disease. Acting on this revelation, she orders the convent to be sealed off, preventing the illness from breaching their sanctuary. However, Abbess Felicita, unwilling to allow Benedetta's influence to go unchecked, travels to Florence to report her indiscretions to the papal nuncio, the highest-ranking church official in the region. Shortly after Felicita's return, Benedetta unexpectedly collapses and appears to die. Yet, just as suddenly as her life seems to end, she revives, claiming to have visited heaven and foreseen the fate of all those present. The nuncio, alarmed by her assertions, opens an inquiry into her conduct. Bartolomea, initially loyal, withstands questioning but ultimately breaks under torture, confessing their sexual relationship. The nuncio's men search Benedetta's quarters and discover the wooden dildo hidden within a book. Outraged, the nuncio orders Benedetta's arrest, but she defiantly declares his impending illness, speaking again in a commanding male voice. Soon after, the nuncio realizes that Felicita has contracted the plague and seeks to keep her affliction hidden. Benedetta is sentenced to death by burning at the stake, and the execution is set in the town square. As the flames are about to consume her, she dramatically reveals new stigmata, declaring that the angel of death is near. The spectacle throws the crowd into chaos. Felicita, knowing she is doomed, exposes the nuncio's role in bringing the plague to Pescia. The townspeople riot, killing the nuncio, while Bartolomea unties Benedetta, finding a bloody pottery shard at her feet. Felicita, consumed by despair, steps into the fire meant for Benedetta, perishing in the flames. Benedetta and Bartolomea flee, spending the night together in an abandoned stable. However, Benedetta insists on returning to the convent, claiming it is her divine calling. Bartolomea pleads with her to abandon the facade and admit her deception, but Benedetta refuses, steadfast in her beliefs. A final title card reveals that Benedetta lived in the abbey until her death at the age of 70, and that, true to her prophecy, the plague spared Pescia. Benedetta's story is one of faith, power, and deception, where the lines between devotion and desire blur, and where the search for divine truth collides with human ambition. Was she truly touched by God, or was she merely a master of manipulation? Even centuries later, her legacy remains shrouded in mystery. What do you think? Was Benedetta a visionary saint or a cunning fraud? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more fascinating film analyses. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. **************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************